Well, hello, it's Elaine King here with simply-healthy.com, and this is the second video of our series, What's for Lunch? My desire is to give you some very simple advice from one home cook to the other home cook of how to prepare quick and healthy lunches that you can kind of adjust to your own tastes and desires, okay? The trick here, or the secret here, is actually to do a little bit of pre-planning to make this process as easy as possible. And if you want information about pre-planning or meal planning, I did do a video about that. But here are the ingredients for our lunch chicken and veggie bowl, or more appropriately, mason jar, because I'm going to show you how you can put all these things in this neat little mason jar, and it's great for eating on the go. Okay, but first let's start with the ingredients. So the bottom portion is going to be our rice. You could also use quinoa, any grain, or even potato could work for here, but a starchier vegetable, and about a cup is what we have there. And then I'm using some veggies that I just had in the refrigerator. A pepper, sweet pepper, Swiss chard. And if you haven't had Swiss chard, it is similar to texture in spinach, but it is a very hearty dark leafy green that's in season right now, which is spring. Also, another spring vegetable is the asparagus. So I'm going to put some asparagus in it as well. With the veggies, you can mix and match to whatever veggies you want. Okay, you can use only peppers if you want to. Actually, I just thought I might would add onion to this mixture as well. So this is how you can adjust it to your own particular needs, whatever veggies that you want. Okay, I'll talk more about that in a minute. And then this is our chicken. Okay, already prepared. I actually baked this chicken in a crock pot. That's another story, another video, but it's already prepared. You can also buy those roasted chickens at the grocery store if you're really tight on time. Then we have our tahini, okay? Me being a foodie, I love cooking simple and easy stuff, but I also like to lift it up a notch with something that's a little out of the norm. So this is something that's a little out of the norm and not a have to, but it's tahini. And with this tahini and these ingredients, we're going to make a quick little sauce or dressing for our chicken and veggie bowl. So here we go. Let's get started. Okay, so we're going to start with cooking our veggies. Okay, so I've already got my oil that's heated on medium heat. I use olive oil. And I'm going to add the peppers and the asparagus first, because it's going to take a much shorter time for the greens to cook. And by the way, you don't want to cook with olive oil any higher than medium heat. Otherwise, it starts to smoke, and that's what makes it toxic to our system. And that's what creates trans fat, by the way. You can create trans fat with healthy stuff. So we just get that to sauteing or stir frying. I don't really know the correct terminology. Essentially, you're using small pieces of food that you're cooking at a medium to medium-high heat. Medium-high heat or so. I tend to go for medium because I don't want to use too much heat. So you just kind of get everything coated with the oil. And of course, we do want to do some seasoning, so I've got some sea salt here I'm going to add in. Believe me, it's not a lot. It sounds like more than it is. And then I'm going to use some pepper. Just keeping it very simple. If I had garlic, I would put garlic powder on there, but I'm out of it right now. So you just kind of let that cook. One little trick that I do, I add a top to it. So that's going to kind of help to steam and pan fry it at the same time. Okay, so that's been cooking for about 2 minutes. That salt is helping it to caramelize a little bit. And then we're going to add our greens, our Swiss chard. And this is going to cook down. Looks like a lot, but it's going to cook down a whole lot. And just get the liquid and oil all mixed in together. Then we'll add our top back on for another couple minutes. Okay, so it's been 2 or 3 minutes, and as you can see, the greens have wilted down. And depending upon how soft you want your veggies to be, or crunchy, you decide how long you want to cook it. Since I'm making basically a cooked salad here, I do want my veggies to be a little crunchy. Okay, so I want a nice little crunch to them as well. Okay, so there's our veggies. Let's move on to our sauce. So let's start with our tahini dressing. Okay, first of all, tahini is basically sesame seed paste. It's just ground sesame seeds. And it happens to have a lot of protein, like 5 grams per serving. It's also high in fiber, and then also calcium and iron. So highly nutritious, but as far as cooking, it's great for adding a creaminess to your dressings and sauces, and a lot of other good stuff too. So I'm adding about a couple of tablespoons, which will be plenty for the sauce that we are making today. You could also just use a homemade dressing, a vinegar and oil, and some seasonings, or a store-bought dressing. I have to say, I don't buy store-bought dressings anymore because when I discovered how easy it is to make your own and more economical, there's no need. There's no need. Okay, so then we're going to do a juice of 1 lemon. And this lemon was in the refrigerator, and I found that, number 1, they last longer, and number 2, I can get a lot more juice out of it. So the juice of 1 lemon, which would be a nice amount of liquid. Some honey, just for a little bit of sweetness. This is optional. I've got about a teaspoon that I'm adding here. And then we're going to add water. And this is going to be to your taste, starting with about 1/4 cup. If you notice, I'm putting this in a mason jar. I use mason jars for a lot of things, especially for my dressing. So then I just shake it up. Okay, and it's nice and blended. I actually probably could use a little less liquid because it's not as creamy as I would have liked, but this will be perfect for this dish. Okay, so now let's start to assemble our mason jar. Okay, so we'll start at the bottom with our starch. So we'll put that in, and as I said, you can use rice, you can use quinoa, you could even use potatoes, like sweet potatoes or new potatoes. This is about 1 cup. Or if you're not eating grains, you can just omit this part altogether. This mason jar holds about 30 ounces. So that's about the size. Then we have our veggies. Oops. That over here. And we're just going to add basically all of these. I mean, it's a lot, but we want to focus on vegetables. In place of the veggies, you could add a salad, maybe a leftover salad, or just salad greens. In the comments section, you'll see all of the different things that you can add besides sauteed veggies. But this is where you get a chance to use your own personality, your own taste. It's with the vegetable part. You can use a slaw, okay, as well. So be creative and spice it up so that you don't have a bland meal. Then we're going to add our sauce. Now, if you're using just lettuce, I would add the sauce second, right in before the vegetables, okay? Because then you will make your lettuce too wilted, which I kind of like, but you may not. So you want to use your liquid second and then your vegetables, okay, if they're not cooked. And then last but not least, we're going to add our chicken or whatever meat you want to use. You can use fish. Salmon would be excellent in this. Tuna, of course, turkey. You can use ground meat, even beef or shrimp, okay? So then we put our top on, and there's our nice veggie and chicken bowl or mason jar. Very simple to take this on the go. You could make up these ingredients because you need to make up your rice in advance, your veggies in advance, and your chicken in advance. Make this up on a Sunday afternoon. Put together a few of these jars without the dressing because that might make things too soggy. And you have a lunch that's ready made to go for all week. How simple is that? So now I'm going to show you how we can eat this, okay? Okay, now it's time to eat. So let's say you're at work and you're ready to eat lunch. You got your complete meal right here. So we've got our protein, our carbohydrates, and our healthy fat. The healthy fat is from the fat you cooked, the oil you cooked the veggies in, and also the tahini has healthy fat in it. If you use dressing, the oil is going to be your healthy fat. Very important to get in all three of those nutrients in, okay? So what we'll do is just place it into a bowl. You might be able to eat it out of here, but I don't want to try it. So you put it all into a bowl. And by the way, if you're not in an office, you can skip the jar altogether, of course. Looks good. Give it a little toss. So you get all the ingredients kind of mixed together. Our sauce kind of mixed together in there. Okay, make it a nice forkful. Very tasty. And keep in mind, there are tons of ways that you can alter this meal to fit your taste, okay? Then you don't have any blah lunches anymore. So stay tuned for the next video. I'll have another idea. What's for lunch? Talk with you soon. If you have any questions, please contact me at Elaine at simply-healthy.com. Have a good day.